Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we have
Kyle McIntyre, as always.
As always. So let's just jump right into it. Kyle, what's new in your world? What is shaking? What is grooving? I think we have a continuation from last week.
Oh, this is yeah. Ooh.
When you saw our hero last week.
Yeah. So I got that broken EVH pedal.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
EVH Phase 90.
Yeah. So it is, still broken.
It's in pieces.
Yeah. No, it's actually all in one piece. I bought the right parts and they came in and I waited till today. I was like, yeah, I'm going to work on it and I'll have something for my what's new. Mm-hmm. I put it in there. Everything went in really well.
It was a surface mounted.
Yeah, the surface mounted chip, the IC chip. Yeah.
And Sean gave you tips on taking that out?
Yeah, Sean basically after the episode that aired on last Tuesday, he sent a message like, hey, don't do it the way, basically you're an idiot.
Actually, I forgot to say, we act like everybody's so casual. Sean Wright from Lollygagger.
Yeah.
Former guest.
Yeah. He's been on the show. People know.
People know. Sean Lollygagger.
He's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he gave you a little pointer.
Yeah, he's like, don't use this. Make sure you do that.
Kyle, don't be stupid.
Use tweezers, snip it. Don't desolder for this part because it's really fragile. You can melt something.
Yeah.
So I did. I snipped off whatever he said, and then I kind of peeled the IC chip off and just snapped it off. I'm like, great, because the old one it's messed up.
Yeah, it's all fucked up.
It's all burnt. And took my soldering iron. I cleaned off all the connection points, and it looked really good. I pull the chip out, the new one, I align it, which actually that was the longest part, was aligning the damn thing. I had my little I didn't have tweezers, so I'm using pliers. I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh man, I moved it. Oh, damn it. There's 14 pins that have to get lined up.
Ugh.
So I got one, held it down, tacked it on there. Great. Because another thing he said to do, just tack one, and then tack the rest of them after it gets aligned. Great. I went through the board and looked at some other parts that I needed to work on, fixed it up, plug it in. Now there's no sound when you kick it on. Before it was even
bypassed.
It was unaffected signal.
Yeah.
It was going through, it was really quiet, but now it does bypass still.
Okay.
So it does bypass, but now it does not have any affected signal. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What the fuck?
What in the fuck?
I know. I'm like, I did everything. I'm spending way too much time on this. And I'm like, fuck. I know. I'm rethinking my life right now at this moment.
You look in the mirror. Why are you like this?
Yeah. I have a mirror in the garage that I just look at myself. It's full to the floor. It's actually on the ceiling.
Yeah. You have a mirror on this.
Yes. Yeah. So I look at the chip and I'm like, what the fuck? That's not what I ordered. I look at the number on it. I'm like, man, I'm an idiot. It's a really, really long number, but the last letter is wrong. I'm like, that's not what I ordered. Fuck this guy. I'm like, I'm getting mad, and I look at my eBay
really
account.
Steaming over here.
I look at my eBay account. I'm like, nope, that's what I bought. I'm an idiot because I was like, oh, those are $1 cheaper than the $5 or $6 or $8 ones.
Yeah,
like, let me just get those. They were the wrong ones. So
wrong.
So great practice. All right, let's meet again next week.
It's a good trial run, guys.
Thanks for coming out, boys.
Well, I mean, thanks to Sean Lollygagger giving you some tips.
It worked, and it actually looks pretty good. I think I'll take a picture and snap it to him.
And he'll be like, nice job,
yeah, dude.
Dickhead.
Do it again next week.
Do a lap.
Yeah.
He's like, coach.
Great job. Great hustle. Yeah.
Great hustle out there, kid. But you're going to do it again and do it right this time.
Yeah. I also, so that's one what's new. And then
the ongoing saga of Kyle versus the EVH Phase 90.
And then I may just throw in the towel after this one because the other chips are really expensive.
How much are they?
$5 or $6, and then the shipping. I was like, oh, $5 or $6. Shipping's $3 for this little tiny.
Yeah.
This thing is not even. It's as long as your pinky nail.
Yeah, I mean, it might be worth it to see.
And I'm like, actually, all right, fine. I'll get 3 of them. I'll look at the price, and the shipping goes up too with them. I'm like, come on.
Come on. You guys are just throwing it in the same envelope.
I know. They did on this one, but the shipping didn't go up when I applied this. When I upped it to 4 chips.
Sons of bitches.
There's another thing I'm doing that's really stupid.
What's up?
It's really dumb.
got all this. I got some more stupid shit.
More stupid than the last one.
Hashtag stupid shit.
Yeah. I am building like a big board, just like a really stupid big board. It's like a vanity project.
So you've posted some sneak peeks
Yeah.
in the Tone Jerks Facebook group.
I think that's where it's gonna stay too, until maybe the end. I don't know.
Until it's like the final project.
Yeah, if you want to see, you're gonna have to join the group.
You're gonna do like, yeah.
But you probably know every pedal that's on it since we talk about
it's basically
it
every pedal that you own.
No,
there's
some ones I don't own on it.
There's like 2 boutique pedals on there.
Yeah. Find out which ones.
It's like a Like My Pedals and Earthquaker.
Yeah. So it's like a 4-foot long board.
What is it? You got
It's a pallet.
Yeah, you got a pallet. And
it's a plastic pallet, actually. It's like one of those things that like a large drink conglomerate would use to deliver sodas, like on a big flat pallet. And it's like a foot. It's like 18 inches by like 4 feet.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, actually. That's probably bigger than that. It may be a little. It's like 20 inches probably wide.
Yeah.
But I cut the legs off it because it was really tall. It was like maybe 11 inches tall. So I cut one side shorter than the other until it has a little lean to it.
Now it's a tilt.
Now it's a pedal board, dude. It's got holes in the top. It's already perforated. Now I need to just
pedal
figure
train's
out.
gonna be coming after your ass.
Yeah. Like what'd you do with that?
What? It's like they send in the goons.
The lawyers. Yeah. So it actually looks pretty cool. I was thinking maybe I'll cut it down a little more because it's pretty tall.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just gonna sit. I'm not gonna gig with it.
But if you're wearing your like Alice Cooper style boots and you're stomping on those, it'll be perfect for it.
My goldfish boots.
Your goldfish
disco boots.
Yeah. I don't know how to get him out of there. That's a Simpsons reference.
Yeah, I know.
Simpsons.
I said Seinfeld, but I meant Simpsons.
So you don't really watch either, right? You've never really watched Seinfeld?
I've only watched Seinfeld with you, and then Simpsons I've never owned. Like, I was a sheltered child, Brian.
Oh, man. Those are 2 you need to fucking get into. Okay, Simpsons, scale it back. First 2 seasons, skip them. They're easily skippable.
Really?
3 to 9. 3 to 8. You're good. Those are like gold. Yeah.
Jesus. And how many episodes in each one?
They're, I think
30 or something or more.
I think they're like 12 to like 24.
Depends. Yeah. Whenever they took off.
Yeah. When they started taking off.
Yeah.
And then, but they are up to like 30 or something now. So you can fuck off all those ones. But
like you're saying seasons?
Yeah.
30 seasons?
Yeah. 30 seasons. So seasons 3 to 8, you're good. Just watch those and you're going to be good to go.
That sounds like a pretty good deal then.
It's totally doable. And that's the only ones that people quote are those ones. The only good Simpsons ones.
The other ones are just washed up, recycled jokes. And
they're shitty.
They rely on celebrity
It's
shit.
like Family Guy type thing.
Oh.
It's like off like the cuff jokes that have nothing to do with the story. Yada, yada.
Yeah.
Bringing it back, reel it in. But yeah, no, Seinfeld is gold. I don't know why you don't watch that.
I just don't have the time, Brian. I'm busy breaking pedals.
Yeah,
that were already broken.
Yeah, I spent hours breaking this more.
Yeah. Yes, please. I'll take 2.
I'd rather just sniff on solder for a couple hours and.
Yeah, that's another thing. I got to get like a solder filter or something in here. It's clouding up.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I've seen them, but I don't know if it really
that with
matters.
all your vape clouds.
Yeah, blowing
solder clouds, vape clouds. It's just a fucking like cornucopia of fucking dankness up in here.
And then my last what's new.
God, you're just fucking.
I know. I'm always on fire.
I'm a hot fire.
I got some more Sonic Stompers. I got the stainless steel and bronze ones. So they're really super shiny. They look like they're chrome.
Yes. They gave you an extra one and you gave that to me.
Yeah.
Because it was like.
Whoa. I didn't give it to you.
You ain't giving it back, bitch.
I gave it to you to loan. No, that doesn't make sense. I loaned it to you to give back to society, which is me.
Give this back.
Okay. Is it the Sonic Stomper?
Yeah. So, anyways, those are really cool. So
you have one that you use. Where's it on?
It's on my utility knife.
Oh yeah,
from Southampton. So it's
so you're putting the 2 Canadian things together.
Yeah, it looks pretty badass. I'm really into it.
You have Windsor and Guelph. If they face each other in a football match,
or hockey probably.
No, they don't. I don't think they play hockey.
I don't think they play hockey in Canada. I'm pretty sure
that's totally fake. They only do it probably when the Olympics roll around.
That's false. It's false, my friend. It's a myth. So, that's really cool. So, anyways, back onto it. They're shiny, right?
They're super shiny. Super. I was surprised how chrome-like it looked. It looked like a bumper on like a '60s car. I was like, whoa, a lot of chrome. But it's just really polished.
Looks like a T1000.
Yeah.
Liquid metal Terminator.
That was really
coming out of the back. You're like, oh shit.
With Sarah Connor.
Have you seen this boy?
Oh, Brian, what's new with you?
So it's kind of what's new with both of us.
Yeah.
So we played a gig the other night at a soda bar.
Sick.
And it was cool. I mean, well, we played really well. There was not a whole lot of people there.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're not gonna lie to you guys and say like we're a huge fucking band. Sometimes you play the shit bars and you play the shitty shows where nobody shows up.
Yeah, not even your grandma shows up.
And the bar doesn't promote. Nobody gives a fuck. You kind of just show up. But
like the door prices are way too high.
Yeah, it was like, we're not trying to like make everything against the show, but it was just like,
yeah.
It's like the bar was like, we're charging $10 for a Sunday night show with like a bunch of no-name touring bands, and not that it's their fault, but it's like, it's not like it's like we have fucking.
It's just not ideal.
Yeah, it's not like it's like, oh, we have fucking NoFX coming to town.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we played that show and played really well. It was just like unfortunate that I'm like, fuck, dude, there was like hardly anybody here and we killed it. And but it was really fun. I mean, we honestly like it was like a Sunday and I'm like, okay, I just came off work. You were busy working and doing stuff like that.
I was working on the motorcycle.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, as soon as we got to like meet up to like get all the gear, we're like, dude, we have no fucking time. Let's just like grab the small gear.
Yeah.
And figure it out. It's a big enough stage to where like, oh, we could have brought the big gear and like 8, 10, 4x12, whatever, stuff like that.
So you brought your little 8015?
Yeah. So the 8015 that I have at Kyle's house here for him to play, Kyle brought, and then for him to play, I have the Terror Bass 500.
The thing was so good.
It's a 2x12 combo with the isobaric like stacked speakers. So it's like a 12-inch speaker in front of the other, and they're like, I don't know how they work, but it works. It's science, dog.
One day we'll have to open up and look at it.
No, I don't think I want to do that.
I mean, it's held. It's like just on with Velcro, that front screen. Have you seen that? There's a pull tab on it.
Yeah.
Calm down. I'm not going to take my soldering iron to it.
You're like, yeah. I want to see what I can do. Yeah. So, anyways, it sounded great because I'm like, okay, 15 watts, like, little tube amp. I'm like 1x12. I'm like, we'll crank it. And they mic it here anyways at this place, and they put it through a PA. And then the bass, I'm like, oh, they do DI out of that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like loud enough just for stage volume. And it sounded really good for both, like the bass and guitar for us. I'm like, yeah, and for the like 10 people in the crowd, they were like, people came like, the other bands that we played with, they're on tour and stuff like that. They're on like Wiretap Records and stuff like that. So they're like, they're doing it, but it's like a Sunday night and so stuff like that. So they were like, it's funny because they play and they're like, they make it, they're like, wow, you guys sounded great. It's like, there's like 10 people in the crowd and they like talking to you and I. It's like, I was surprised you guys sounded so good for your amps. It's like they were little and you guys sounded huge. Yeah. And I'm like,
one guy had a half stack.
Yeah, one guy had a half stack, the other guy had an 810. He's like, it's like, how did you guys sound so big with your little amps? Because like, sometimes you go to a show and you see the other bands and you're like, you prejudge and do the sizing each other up, you know? Yeah. And I'm sure that they did that for us. They're like, who the fuck are these pieces of shit? They got their practice amps on stage.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, fuck. They mean business.
I have my pedal board on top of it, too. I don't want to kneel down, so make it look lame.
So they're like, I'm like, yeah, these are small amps, but they're not practice amps. I'm not, I'm not like going up there with like a fucking like Crush like 12 or like a Boss Katana or fucking some shit like that. It's like I'm going up there with like a British made fucking all tube amp.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, oh yeah, just because it's small doesn't mean it doesn't sound good. So it's like people could play like shows with fucking Blues Juniors, dude. I'm like, they sound good, but I'm like, because you're using a good sound and it's being mic'd up anyways. So, don't judge people on the size of their amps.
But on the state of them, if they're solid.
Yeah, the state of the amp. Judge them on that. It's like, but it's how good the amp is. Like, especially for bass. I'm like, there's like that little terror bass combo. It's ridiculous. It
sounded so good,
stupid. And we've talked about it before, but I'm like, oh, you guys. I'm like,
you're missing out.
You're sleeping on these amps, and whatever. It's like 1x12 combo, perfect. That's all you need for a fucking show.
Yeah,
like if it's being mic'd. And if you're not being mic'd, I'm like, grab a 2x12, 4x12 if you have to. But it's like, it's not needed. Like,
yeah.
So the other bands that played, not that to say like downplay what they brought, but they brought really big amps and it sounded fucking killer.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Fucking JCM 900, like half stack, like the 4x12 and everything like that. They had like Ampeg 810 rig and like a Ampeg like I think it was SVT3.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm like, oh, that's their kind of amps that we've already, our other amps that we have that we just didn't bring today.
Yeah, when we showed up, we're like, shit, we could have just brought our heads.
I'm like, you know what?
They'd be small in the combos.
Yeah, because when we got there, it's like we got there like, an hour or so before doors even opened. So I'm like, oh shit. Like they already had their gear backlined as far as cabs wise. I'm like, oh shit. If we would have thought ahead, like what we've talked about before in other episodes,
yeah,
to hit up the other band, I'm like, hey, are you guys bringing cabs? Because Kyle and I could have brought just our heads.
Yeah, I think because we're so self-reliant that we just don't want to.
Yeah, we
put
don't
someone else off, or
we don't want to be like,
we know that they're touring and like
be like, hey, I know you need to get to the next city.
Yeah,
like it's just cabs. It's not like we're gonna fucking blow them out, but still, it's like you can't blow out you won't blow out a 4x12 with a 50 watt or 30 watt amp.
Yeah,
especially if it's rated at 300 watts, you'll be fine. So stuff like that. We got there. I'm like, oh shit, we could have brought heads. I'm like, well, whatever, fucking, and like they're sizing us up because we would bring these little dinky combos.
Yeah, I
like,
could see it when we're like setting up. They're like, what the hell?
And then they saw
San
us.
Diego sucks.
And then they saw us, and they keep like watching. It's like, how the fuck do you guys sound so big with those things? I'm like, oh, because we loud enough so we can hear ourselves, but not too loud, and let this like the sound guy able to do what he needs to do. Because I'm like, if you're too loud, then he can't do anything. And Brian, our drummer, is like he's not stupid. That's one thing I'm like with drummers who are just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to bang as fucking hard on these drums as I fucking can because I want to replace my cymbals every year. It's like, whereas Brian's like way more finesse, but he's like, articulate with his drums. I'm like, it's like dynamics. Like, hey, you can have dynamics on drums,
Yeah.
and still be a punk drummer. And so he's like, he's hitting these things. And I'm like, oh, where he's not going to be like, because we've played with drums before, but that's their whole mantra. It's just like, I want to destroy my fucking kit. I'm like,
I like that though too, but maybe not in my band.
Yeah, no, like sometimes I'm like, sometimes it's cool. Like
you feel like
if you're
the
playing
drummer, you're like, oh damn, that dude's like sawing sticks back there. You see a bunch of sawdust everywhere. You're like, yeah,
and it's like, well, I'm like, oh, it's like, yeah. Sometimes like you can play to your room.
Yeah,
it's like you don't need to like, you're not like fucking playing Wembley, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. And then just the other bands, they shared backline and just like, fucking, that's what I like. It's like punk bands. They played SVT3, A10 rig, and JCM 900 rig. Boom, done. That was kind of cool. They shared them.
Yeah.
So that was about it. Do you want to get into a couple topics, Kyle?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this one is not typical TTJ, but, it's something that happened today. So we're bringing you a little bit of the news. What's going on? I'm sure every other podcast is going to talk about this too. We're going to call
it the olds.
Yeah.
By the time it hits the
so
the feed.
I know there's some other podcasts that are going to talk really, really, really good about this brand of stuff that they just, but you can hear unbiased opinions about.
Are we unbiased?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're true biased.
No, anyways, true bypass.
True bias passes. Anyways, so today, Boss, they released two new pedals, kind of reissue or whatever.
Their Waza line, right?
The Waza Craft. They released the MT2W. That's the Metal Zone. They released the Waza Craft version of that.
Yeah.
And then they released the DC2W. That's the Dimension Chorus.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one with the 4 buttons.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple.
Yeah. And I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, okay, that's like, as Bosch, some they don't want to call them reissues. They're like, oh yeah, we don't like to take a step back or whatever. We improve upon it or like do something new. And I think that's kind of cool. So like the Dimension C or like the DC2 is like a pedal that, you and I have been noticing it's just been increasing in value.
Yeah.
It's like what, up $300 something more even. It's just like the 4 buttons. You push like whatever chorus you want. You push that and just decide whatever sound. It's like the Cure in a box is what I've heard.
But you would really only run that for stereo, right? I mean, I hear that's like really good for stereo, but as just a regular chorus pedal, it's like, oh, it's good.
It's there, yeah.
But it really comes alive with stereo, especially that particular circuit.
I mean, a lot of people are running stereo nowadays, anyways, and they're doing like stereo. And companies are creating like stereo summing boxes and stuff like that, so you can have like whatever you want. So I'm like, I think Boss is like totally capitalizing on that, which is great because I'm like, why spend $300-$400 on it like an old discontinued Boss pedal when you can buy? They're like, you know what? I'll have some of that money that you guys wanted to spend on this. We'll just reissue this and do it in Japan and stuff like that.
It's a good idea, I think.
Yeah. So it's cool. So I think that's kind of a cool idea. Metal Zone too.
Yeah, Metal Zone.
Metal Zone Waza, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah. It's I mean, for me, I don't know why they would have done that. I think just because of the hype.
Yeah, it's a lot of hype.
I know it's
like a meme now.
There's no more music these days that there's music these days that that work around the Metal Zone. There's like whole genres for that type of sound. Mm-hmm. But I think when it first came out, it wasn't. Like it was like, oh, this sounds like garbage. But now it's like it's kind of like more of a thing to have it. So I could see why they did it, but still, it's like,
well, it's notorious for sounding like shit.
Yeah,
it's like out of the box.
Is it a joke or
it's like
April Fools?
People,
what are we doing?
People give them like sell them for like $30-$20 because they shit in it. They shit. So. They, there's a lot of mods that you can do to those things.
Yeah, well, you can't do it with this thing. Everything's gonna be surface mounted. Mm-hmm. They just want to show everyone who's the boss. We're boss. We're gonna do whatever the hell we want.
You can't fix this because we did the mod already,
and I'm the boss.
And I'm the boss.
Yeah,
we're gonna surface mount the fucking shit.
Yeah, everything's gonna be surface mounted, so you can't alter anything in there.
You take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can spend $30 on a used one and then do your own mod and have fun.
Yeah, have fun doing it. Try not to break it, and then make sure have a better pedal.
Yeah,
but there is a switch on there, like all the Wazas. They have like
the standard, which is like the
original circuit.
Here's your stock, or I think the S stands for stock, like your stock Metal Zone, and then they do the custom, which is their new circuit or whatever.
They kind of tweak it a little bit and make it fuller or whatever. Like
it sounded good. I mean, I watched a couple of videos. I watched the one Ola England did, and it sounded great. I mean, you could tell there was like he was struggling to find a good sound on the standard side. Yeah, he could find it,
Yeah, you gotta mess with it. There's like 4.
We all know you can find good sound, and he's playing one of his like good Solar guitars through like a good tube amp and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, I'm able to dial this in. I'm sure if you're trying to take a Metal Zone and shove it in front of a Line 6 Spider, it's gonna sound like shit no matter what you do. But like he was able to figure out and dial it in because fucking what he does for a living is play guitar and record. So he's like, okay, I can. And he showed bad sounds you can get out of it. It's like, all right, let me just like throw a random setting on here, like the same setting on had that sounded like shit on the standard, switch it to custom. He's like, oh, that actually sounds good. He's dialing more. The dials aren't as extreme, I guess. And it's like less like onboard noise and stuff like that. So they, really did improve upon it. But I think it's like Boss trying to be like, we know that's a joke.
Yeah.
We're gonna, you guys are taking the piss out of us. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna give it right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. So I think that's.
What will they think of next?
Yeah, I think like Yeah, I mean that kind of brings it into like, what would you want to see like reissued? Like, because Boss is doing these revamps. They're not reissues, whatever. Like, because they're the Waza line. But like, what are like some like things that have been discontinued or like aren't around anymore that you would want to see reissued?
Maybe like was it the CE2B?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the base version of the CE2.
It's the brown one or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
that'd be kind of cool.
I think
it would be better if it was a better color than brown.
Yeah, brown. Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a base. It's a B. It starts with just make it brown.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Like, there's a guy on Craigslist locally trying to sell like 4 or 5 brown base Boss pedals. It's like a certain anniversary number. Yeah. It looks like shit. Like literally looks like shit.
Like fucking terrible.
One, he wants a lot for it, but you're like, yeah, pass.
These are not good looking. I do not want that on my
foot. It's brown and gold, I think. Like the knobs have like gold rim on. You're like, ooh.
It'd be like, everybody's choosing the colors and stuff like that. It was the AWOL pedals. They started doing pedal trains like powder coated in your own color. I'm like, what color do you want? I want Dookie.
Yeah. I sent you a sample of what I want.
I wanted a sample. Oh, man. But I was thinking, talked about it before, but I think this Supersonic from Squire.
Yeah.
So it's that offset, like really extreme offset, like almost like flipped upside down body, sparkly, like done by Squire. But I think Fender did it for like a year, maybe, like their pawn shop series.
Yeah.
When they did all those like kind of crazy stuff. I'm like, I don't know why Fender, like they stopped doing like some of these crazy like reissues and crazy like, they did like that hollow body, like the pink and whatever one with the like cupcake knobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was part of that series too. I'm like, why did you guys stop doing that? I'm like, keep on going.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird when companies do that.
They're like, oh, we have 1 year.
Like, oh man, that did really well. But you know what? That's old shit.
It's old. Why you bringing up old shit? I think that would be really cool. And it had like the upside down headstock too. I was like, that's really
you like
cool.
that look?
I think it'd be fun. It'd be kind of the whole guitar looks like it's like flipped upside down, basically.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like,
I'll make a note of that.
That's kind of shit. We keep saying that. Like, that would be really cool. And then one other that I kind of had.
Yeah.
The Gibson S1. Back in the 70s and early 80s, it was like the G3 grabber.
Oh, yeah.
How they had that for bass. They had this for guitar. It was like Les Paul-ish kind of shape.
Yeah.
With the 3 single coils. Dang. That did the kind of like the G3 style where they had like the $1.50.
Yeah.
Or all 3. Was it Lucite or whatever the hell kind of like pickups that they had in there? And it was like bolt on. It had like the Flying V kind of headstock with the 3 aside.
Dang.
I'm like, it was, maple neck, all, maple fretboard and,
maple body or black or
I don't know what kind of body it was. I want to say, I don't know, probably it could have been
probably ash or something.
Ash or something. Yeah.
Dang.
It was like they did black, they did Sunburst, and they did the butterscotch color. That would be cool if they reissued that again. But like they really took it into like making them vintage tint, because if they did like a really shit like
polyurethane
finish, I'm like no, it's gonna be like a dog, that's gonna look terrible.
The thing is though, Gibson could actually do lacquer.
Yeah, I mean if they did that, really I think that would be really cool. It'd be cool to see that reissued at a good price, like under $1,000.
It won't be though, it won't be
under $1,000.
Okay,
it doesn't have to be like, even if like, because it's bolt on. So I'm like, how expensive does it need to be?
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be, I don't know, that'd be a really cool, like, throwback. Because I'm like, they did the grabbers, and it just didn't take off because they did it for 1 year.
Yeah.
And it just didn't hit. But I'm like, this could be cool if they do it right. It could be maybe, like, they do, like, P90s or something, like 3 P90s, or if they can kind of get away to, I think was it the Bill Lawrence? Is that what they were? I can't remember what the Bill Lawrence Lucite like pickups that they had. I'm like, if they get something like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And you could exchange them out for like, maybe like some mini humbuckers or something like that would be cool. Or even like, gold foils would be fun to throw that in there. Like 3 gold foils. I'm like, Yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be really cool, like reissue. That was like something I'm like Gibson hasn't done because maybe they're not that popular. To me, in my head, I'm like, those are badass. Those are so cool. But other people are like,
could you do a custom for that or no? They only do their standard bodies in custom.
No, I don't. I'm sure you could, but I'm like, it'd be way cheaper just to buy a used one.
Yeah,
because they're like going for like $700-800.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
Oh man, you just get one.
Yeah,
don't be a bitch.
Just fucking do it, dude.
Brian, you were killing it.
Oh, you fucking do it, dude.
I have another one.
Yeah,
it's in the Boss family too. It's the HM2. Be cool as a Waza, actually.
Yeah, they kind of missed the boat there.
I think that a lot of people feel that. They're like, oh, they thought it was gonna be, their new release, and they're like, oh, what?
Yeah,
they went from like surprised to like angry.
What? Oh, they get all their pitchforks and fucking fire out.
But it'd be cool. I still want to actually just get one, but I would be tempted to mod it. Probably play it like, oh, okay, not my sound. What is everyone spewing over on this thing?
What are all those people in Sweden with the metal bands? What do they like about this?
Yeah, I got to go there.
Yeah. Got to get some meatballs.
Yeah. Would that be a good one or what?
I think it'd be really cool. I think that's what I thought they were gonna do because it's a vintage style pedal that they
and there's a lot of hype on it right now.
Re-release, whereas like Metal Zones are still current.
Yeah,
they're like still a current thing that you can buy.
Yeah, so it's not really a reissue for that line,
and it's not. I guess it's technically they didn't reissue the SDW and the Blues Driver W.
Yeah.
So the Waza Blues Driver or whatever. Those are still current. You can still get a Blues Driver or get a Blues Driver Waza.
Yeah.
Because they're like...
Yeah. Get something you could play it and like hate it and not be able to mod it, or get something that you can mod. Sorry, I think in a different world. I'm like, is it shit? Let's make it better. Or let's break it or make it better.
Yeah. And
either way. No, it's either I can have it or no one can.
Yeah. I think recently like a lot of people are like bringing stuff back. So it's like Orange, they brought the Terror Bass.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the combo.
Yeah.
That was they brought back the Terror Bass head, 500 watt. They kind of restructured the front end, like the preamp section, to be modeled more closely to the AD200. So I think that's really cool. I think they had better effects loop and better DI out.
Yeah, the DI.
They added a tube driven effects loop and tube driven front end. So I think they had that before, but the tube driven effects loop is a little bit better. So
nice.
Yeah. So it's getting a lot of good hype around it, and it's smaller form factor. It's like bring that on tour. That's really cool.
That'd be cool.
So I think that's really cool. Like, so people are bringing stuff
back.
It's
like $800, right?
Yeah. So it's like it's not a whole. I mean, it's a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Like that's totally wouldn't. It's not backup kind of deal. Like you couldn't just be like, that would have to be your main amp. I don't know. To me, $800 is like, to me, I'm like, I don't know. It's still not. It's not bad. Deal. If that was gonna be like your first, like, okay, my first like Orange type amp or first gigging amp,
you get like
that's perfect.
A 410 or something.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you guys have anything that you want to see reissued, let us know. Let us know in the Facebook group. Let us know in the comments of the podcast here, and we'll check it out. Let's talk it out. Okay, the next one I had here, Kyle.
Yes,
is here. 2-person bands.
Yeah.
So what is your stance on that? Like, because one of the bands that we played with at the show happened to be a guitar player and a drummer.
Yeah.
They had a story about their bass player or something.
So
he couldn't
make it to the show. So apparently he went to Knott's Scary Farm. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with that. That's Knott's Berry Farm. They're like their scary little haunted house thing. He threw his back out while like running for his life or something, or like he just just hurt his back. I can imagine. I hate those things. I'm like, oh man, dog, I feel you. He actually wasn't at the show, but I was talking to the drummer.
Oh god, that's fucking shitty.
I know.
Like, what a crappy story.
It's not even that good. I've injured myself in worse ways though. So yeah, I go. Yeah, I feel you, man.
I feel you, brother.
You can go lower than that though.
Yeah.
So the bassist couldn't make it. He couldn't even play. He couldn't stand up and play bass or anything. He couldn't even sit down.
Yeah.
He was just in so much pain. His back was spasming or something. That sucks.
Yeah. So they made it work with just a guitar player.
Yeah.
And a drummer, and the drummer and guitar player both
Do you want
sang.
to talk about the way he ran his pedals? Or
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So the way he had his setup was, let's see if I can remember. He had a TU2 first, and then he split that into a digital like Boss DD6, and then went out of that into split. So he went to his 900 straight into it from there, and then he also went into another TU2 that went to a separate board that had a drive like a DS1, had the octave fuzz from Orange on there, and then it went to the bass amp that was like kind of like dialed in for lows.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's parts where he would
I think there's another tuner on that board too.
No, because he had the tuner that was split off from the delay that he would turn off.
Okay.
So he would turn off the bass part, so he could turn that part off, so he can kick just where he's playing guitar only, and then kick the tuner back off and have the bass come in, because that way he can like try and like fill in some of those frequencies with his guitar.
Yeah, it was pretty smart.
Yeah, because he's playing, and I'm like, oh, he's doing a lot, and like the delay would affect both the 900 and the Ampeg rig.
Yeah,
and then he would like turn off the Ampeg rig basically just for the parts. And he would be like guitar and drums only, and then he would be like, oh, I'm kicking in the quote unquote bass part.
Yeah, like a chorus or like a main riff or something.
Yeah, or like the verse going for that. Or like maybe he wants like, but yeah, no, it was really cool.
Yeah,
to see them.
When I first saw him, I'm like, what the? Why does he keep stomping down on that tuner? And I'm like, oh, I'm like routing it in my mind. I'm like, okay, that's going to the. Oh, he's actually using that bass rig that's on stage. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it at first. I'm like, oh, now I can hear him playing it.
Yeah, it sounded really cool.
Yeah.
So to me, and I thought that was really badass. He made the most out of the situation because of the shitty one, kind of funny story, but he made it work. And so for this, I was like, a topic I wanted to be like two-person bands.
Yeah.
For me, like a hard stance, I'm like, if you're gonna see like a band like at a rock show and stuff like that, it's gonna be a rock concert. There has to be a drummer. The drummer is the essential part.
Yeah.
That's what makes it like a rock band. Like it could be a drummer with a piano player, drummer with a bass player, drummer with a guitar player, but it has to be a drummer. Because I'm like, if you're like, oh, we're two guitarists with vocals on stage, I'm sure you guys could fill and do like a lot. Maybe even doing like, a kick drum with your foot or something like that. But I'm like, you guys aren't like necessarily a band. I'm going to say you guys are like a duo.
Yeah.
You guys are like a group.
Like a boy band.
Yeah. you guys are a duo. It's a duet tonight. Whereas like when you have two people, like, and one of them's a drummer, and like luckily this guy sang really well, and he sang along and he added all his parts. I'm like, he added so much. Like two people filled out so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, but the drummer is what's really necessary for that type of thing to make it like, oh, a good rock band. Like, I want to say band, but I'm like, whatever, you can use that term however you want. But I'm like, for me, I'm like, it's a band when there's a drummer.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Sue me.
Don't sue me. That makes sense.
And so like, I don't know. What about for you? Do you disagree? Do you kind of feel like...
I see that. What I see a lot is like these two-person bands is they figure out that it doesn't work and they add people.
Yeah.
And then you saw the two main dudes who are the band.
Yeah.
And then you have like, oh, there's 8 people on stage. You just keep adding more people every year. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, you're a big recording artist. Like, it's not how it was before.
Like, who are you thinking about?
The Black Keys.
Black Keys, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you think about like, oh, those 2 dudes, and then you go see them live. You're like, shit, there's a lot of people up there.
There's like 5 or 6 people up there.
Who's writing your stuff?
Yeah.
It's probably not you. You probably have like some sort of
I mean, it probably makes it sound closer to the record and stuff like that, but it's like...
Well, that's the other thing is like, on the recording, wouldn't you want to sound like your live performance? Maybe not a band like that.
I don't know.
Maybe you want to sound good.
Sound something that's going to hit and going to get like fucking money in your pocket.
There's some 2-person bands I really like.
Yeah.
Actually, I can think of one. I say bands, but there's a band called Bass Drum of Death. They're very like lo-fi kind of thing. So it's like that works. It's just like a straight up drum beat.
And then are they a guitar player or is it a bass player?
It's guitar, but what I've noticed is there is bass on the recording.
Yeah.
There is bass, but they play like South by Southwest. They're like super trendy and stuff. But
do they still play as a 2-piece?
They play as 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and they make it like all their band photos are just the 2 dudes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But for your recording, you want to be a little thicker. It's not. The bass is barely there, but you can hear it.
What thick?
It's thick with 2 C's. So it's pretty good. That band, I think they do a really good job.
I think like when you're setting stuff up, like it's like Royal Blood too. I never listened to them or like Death from Above or whatever.
What's that one? Really good. 21
Pilots
Jump Street or something?
Yeah. Yeah. So some of these bands, like I've never seen them, never really like gave them that much of a shot because it's like their radio hits suck so much fucking dick. It's 21 Pilots, but I'm sure they're having so much more to their show of like pre-recorded tracks, and like synth and all that type of stuff. That's just not just the 2 of them. So that's why I'm like, whatever. It's cool. But I'm like, okay, think of it more on like a you can do level. I'm like, how would you make like a band fuller of just like having 2 people? To me, and maybe you and I both agree, a drummer, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else could you add, or what else could you do to make the performance bigger, better?
You could do drum and bass only.
Yeah.
I think that would work. You just play high and go low, or it'd be tough.
You play definitely
if you're doing like if you're singing, if there's like you have your vocals, you have your bass, and you have drums, it would work. Yeah, it may not be as interesting as if it was.
We've seen like local people do that with like a couple of friends of ours. Like a couple of years ago, they were like, okay, the bass player was pretty damn good. Drummer was like, he was fine. He wasn't like bad or off time, but he was just like, oh, okay, you're not adding anything more to this, and he was like kind of sang a little bit, and it's like, okay, cool. And the bass, I was like, there was something lacking, like with the sound. I think maybe my biggest thing is like getting an octave pedal and another amp. It's like because of what you can do. I think like way back, if you guys ever listened to episode we did with our buddy Dustin, he used to play in a 2-piece group, but he used to have an octave pedal that would go off either to a bass amp or a PA, the house PA. So it was only a dry, like, octave sound where it's like he would kick that on and off to where it's like, oh, when this comes on, it's an octave. It's not just hitting like the bass amp with like the low notes turned up. So I think would be kind of cool. As a guitar player, you have your signal split. So you can do that with like either like an ABY box, or you can do that with like, a mimic doubler kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be
and you
interesting.
split your dry signal off to the octave, which is like, okay, we're going to roll off all the highs and all the dry, just going to give octave only to a bass amp would be kind of cool. And you fuzz that up if you want to, which would probably be kind of cool just to have like fuzz and octave going. And it's like, now we're hitting this, like, it's a completely like synthetic, like fake sound hitting into the bass amp, but that's rumbling, Yeah. You're adding all the sound. I think that's when I think of like, oh, if I ever had to do like a 2-person band, that would be kind of cool.
The stuff you dream about before you.
Yeah. If I ever get to kick Kyle the fuck out of this band.
Like, replace me so fucking quick, but if I could just figure out this board.
Yeah. I look at my fractal, I'm like, you and I are going to take over this world.
We're going places.
But, and then I would think of like, if you were like a keyboard player, like very proficient, I think that's where you can control the world, because you have all your bass and treble like here, and you're doing, if you can do like melodies and chords, vice versa on either one, then I'm like, oh God, you're done. You're in like Flynn, you know. And then you could, if you both drummer and guitar players and, you know, piano player sang or whatever, that I think would be really cool.
Yeah. I think that's another thing. Like if you can sing, you're the drummer, just sing. That'll fill so much.
All the harmonies and everything.
Yeah. I mean, if you could do that, not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
I can't drum and sing.
Yeah.
I can't even sing, you know.
I can't even drum.
Yeah. Dang, I'm useless.
Ah, shit. Yeah, that's why I think like sometimes I'm like Brian can sing and he can sing lead, but I'm like,
yeah.
Every time we get to like a show, it's like we all know it's like, do we want to take the time to sound check at another mic? Fuck it, no.
Well, we don't really practice with it,
and it's like it's
also
a bitch to set up and stuff like that. So we're like, fuck it, it's not worth it. And then Brian's like, it's not worth it. Yeah, I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think 2-piece bands could really work, and it's like, it sounds like a shitty thing to say, but I'm like, the gear could really make it.
Yeah, if you take the time and map out what you want.
Yeah, and like this band, they had to map shit out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, they're like, he had the octave fuzz thing going into the bass amp. I'm like, that made it work, because it was like, when it came in, it was like this octave, like it was this low fuzz thing that came in. It's like, I could fucking feel like this like, and like going through. I'm like, that came in and out. I'm like, that's cool.
It was like really heavy. It was like really heavy.
So I think he had all the lows turned up, and he had like the volume going, because he was like, I had to push these low frequencies out of this 810. Yeah. And it was like really cool, because you could kick it on and off. I'm like, it was pretty badass. Okay, Kyle, I got one last topic. We're going to round this out.
Yeah.
You ready for it?
I think so.
Okay, so here's a question for you. So how do you handle criticism with your songs? You know, if somebody talks about your band or maybe your live performance, how do you handle it? Like, are you trying to do you look for constructive criticism? Do you want people to just fuck off and keep your mouth shut? What's up?
Yeah, constructive would be nice, but sometimes it doesn't always come across that way. You try and just take it like with a grain of salt,
or sometimes
or sand. Whatever.
Honesty is probably the best. Yeah. I kind of like honest.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people to say like, you fucking killed it out there, bro. And like, you're like, strings are breaking, you're shitting yourself on stage, and people are like,
number of things could be happening. You never know.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I really like when you shit yourself.
You doing
really added to the show.
Right by me, brother.
No, it's really hard to take it positively sometimes. Yeah. You're like, well, here's another asshole telling me what to do, or Yeah. It's really easy to get fucking, but best thing is to turn it into positive, even if they're coming at you negative.
It's like, because like people are telling you things like for a reason, I guess.
Yeah. It's easy to go, well, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, but this is a person who's listening with their own ears.
Yeah, or like watching and kind of giving in criticism, stuff like that too.
Yeah. It's tough though.
Definitely.
You just got to like take it and apply that. You can still apply it in like a good way. Like, oh, well, this person doesn't realize that this is what I was trying to go for. I'm still keeping that part of it, but maybe I comb my hair not on the part.
Yeah. Or, what are some things that you would want to hear for after a show?
You rock, bro.
It doesn't have to be always great, but if it's a bad thing, what would you want to hear?
More like, oh, I couldn't hear the vocals.
Yeah.
Like, good.
Blame it on the sound guy.
Yeah, he's new.
He's a fucking idiot, man. He's like...
That actually happens all the time, but it's not... I think that people don't realize there's a sound guy running it. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, you weren't really loud. You need to get close to the microphone.
You should have sang louder.
Yeah, I didn't see any blood pouring out of your mouth. You probably should sing a little louder.
Yeah. So what are some things that you do want to hear? So like some critiques. They don't have to be bad, but they can be good.
Your bass amp was killer. I love that
Your
one.
bass tone.
Yeah.
What about, is it bass tone is the good one?
The bass tone, yeah. I get that a lot because it's all that people can hear.
It's the last one, it was like...
I get all.
They're like, what's that little bass amp? What is
that? Yeah,
that little shit.
No, I get that a lot actually, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
I'm not just like, oh yeah, I get it all the time. You don't have to worry about saying it next time you see me.
No, it's like I was.
It's great, actually. I'm like, great, because it's something you've been working hard for.
And bass is something that people don't care
People
about.
neglect bass.
Because they're just like, I'm just going to fucking DI into this and put a plug-in on it. I'm like, God, you fucking douchebag. Like, give bass a shot. Like, it is like very important. It is like maybe one, track, maybe DI and amp. It's one sound.
Yeah.
Compared to like multiple guitar sounds, but it can make or break something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Drums actually could make or break something.
Definitely.
Shitty drum sounds could be bad, and a shitty drummer can really fuck everything up.
Stacks all.
But
it's
like
time.
okay, you have a good drummer, and then you add your good bass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People think like, oh, I'm just gonna phone in the bass.
Yeah, I'm just like a friend of the guitarist. He lets me play, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play this.
And it's like, no, it's like, bass is really fucking important, especially the sound. I mean, obviously the playing and like composition, but like the sound of it is really important. It's
yeah,
like, give a fucking shit, would you?
yeah, and that it kind of makes you feel better. Like, I do give a shit, and there's someone who doesn't actually play. Notice someone who's just like a friend, like a coworker or whatever, shows up. Damn, that sounded really good.
Yeah, that bass, I'm like, oh, I could hear it. I'm like when they're hearing it, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I'm going for. I wanted to like bass to hit your chest and like feel the rhythm to lock in with the drums. Yeah. Especially when it locks in with the kick. I'm like, oh, boom. You guys are like a kick with the drums and bass it's a fucking unit. And you guys are doing something rhythmically that people are feeling more or less than they're like hearing.
Yeah.
And then they can like quantify and be like, well, this part you should have shifted to this. I'm like, no, they're locking in to me. Like, they're carrying the rhythm. That's important. Like, people really, we always talk about it. Like, people neglect bass, but it's important.
Oh, yeah.
Give a shout out to the Tone Control podcast. Like, I sent them like a demo. If you guys aren't listening to Tone Control, you guys are fucking up. I like great guitar podcast. I sent them like a kind of a demo playthrough of my guitar rig. And they like harped on about it, like, oh man, that's really cool. I'm glad you sent this stuff in. But like, you want to talk about that bass tone? The bass tone was fucking killer.
Yeah, I think we'll have to submit something for
They're
them.
like, can we get a rig rundown of the bass too? Like,
give them something to chew on.
I mean, I give them something to talk about.
I give you something to talk about.
But yeah, that's I'm like, the bass is on, like, because you can listen to it playing without a palette record, and you're like, that bass it's there. Like, it's not just some like some farty dumb shit like plugged into an M box.
God,
like, I plugged this into the DI of my iPhone. I sent it to you. Good luck. But so that's really cool. That's for me. I'm like, okay, like, as far as like handling criticism,
yeah,
I really want honest criticism. Like, I want people
do people lie to you?
Like, no, because honestly, you don't have like people say like, yeah, you guys did great.
Yeah, but they mean it, Brian, every time.
Even if you guys fucking did absolute fucking like crap.
No, I've been there where you're like, wow, this is the worst
Especially
show I
when
think I
like
ever
people
played.
can be like, okay, and like, because the thing is, like, I can catch a lot of things going wrong with the show, and I'm like, the bass didn't come out of this part. Oh,
yeah,
guitar player, like, I missed this part. Like, drums, I'm like, oh, he kept on that beat. I'm like, oh, he added the like, he cut the drum fill in half. I'm like, oh, but I'm like, if we come in and nobody hears that,
yeah,
like
because we did have that incident at the show.
At this last show, we did like an extra 2 measures of like, no, it was actually probably an extra 4 or 8 measures actually of a song.
It was
where it's
that
like,
long, but
no, it was like 4 chords times 2.
Okay.
So it was 8 measures we played.
Okay.
Math. So we played that, and it was like adding. I'm like, okay, cool. Drum. I'm like, we just missed the vocal cue, and we were like, we all came in. I'm like, okay, cool. We're just gonna skip this next one. I'm like, let's do another one, because I'm like, okay, the bass is like, we're all gonna rock, and people were like, man. Nobody knew what was up, because we were all like,
I looked at the drummer like, okay, we on? We're back on, and here we go. I'm like, now we're on back onto the verse that I missed.
I was like, oh, the part where the vocals didn't come in. I'm like, oh, guess what? I'm like, there's more time for some pentatonic bullshit. I think I'm gonna kick on delay for this bitch. I just kept going. I'm like, yeah, doing some like some just random licks, and like people like just in time with the bass and drums. I'm like, cool. And then I saw everybody, and like I saw Kyle. I'm like, when I step up to the mic, fuck off. And I was like, and then I was like, click off the delay and like play my parts again. I'm like, okay, cool. We're back to the verse.
Yeah, it worked out.
So it was like cool, like working that stuff out. And like we talked to like friends who were there. Like, no, I never watched it. I never noticed anything. Yeah. Honestly, and some friends like Johnny's like, I only noticed that you guys fuck up sometimes when you guys make the faces.
Yeah. I do all the time.
And some of my other friends are like, I think like Johnny and some of my other friends, like, she's like, been like one of my friends, Jen, she's been to the show. I'm like, I don't notice you guys fuck up until like you make a face. You're like, like, I didn't step on that part. She's like, I don't really like. I see you step on your pedals and stuff like that. She's like, I don't know a lot about guitar, but I know what you get. Once you step on a pedal, I know that changes the sound. And notice like you hit something and you're like trying to find you're tap dancing, trying to find it, and then once you hit it, you're like, whoa. Or if you hit the wrong one, it changes like for a quick second until you change it back. But it's like so maybe that's in your own head. But I don't know. For me, like things that I always want to hear, like always. Same with you. It's like you guys played well because I'm like, but also like when people like critique your tone, like what you're doing on with the guitar, dude, it sounds fucked. Yeah. Like especially like exactly that's what I wanted. I wanted the big sounds. I wanted the changes with like the delays. I wanted the reverbs and like stuff to come in and out and go back to dry and go to this. Here and there.
Well, I think people are more likely to comment on the guitar tone also than the bass tone.
Yeah.
Especially if your band doesn't actually give a shit about the bass tone. But
yeah.
I mean, like, I don't hear it as much, I don't think, but
definitely
as you probably.
Especially because like my board is more impressive because people can see that like, oh, it's big and like, oh, it's like it's a PT3 size board, and people like they are instantly judging me. They're like, you have it. You better fucking show me some. You have a big ass board. You better show me a good time with
this guy trucks his shit around.
Yeah. No, you better know how to use it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't, like, if you do, like, because you see people with like big ass boards, and if they don't fucking like kill it with those like tones that they have and the crazy sounds that they have with the board. Like
fuck it up.
If somebody's like shows up with like a Strifecta and like a bunch of like crazy ass like drive pedals and like shit like that, like a MS3 or not, was it the ES8 or something like that, like a Boss like switcher looper thing?
Yeah.
And then they suck ass. You're like, man, you should probably just fucking kill yourself.
Jeez.
But I don't know. To me, like sometimes like that, like I know when I like bring all my shit out, it's like I'm instantly judged. Like people are like, this bitch, it's gonna be a good one.
Get ready, boys.
Get your popcorn, boys. He's either gonna fuck up or he's gonna do something good with this. All right, I think that's about all I had for that.
Yeah,
criticism, I like it.
Take it lightly.
Don't
let it crush you.
Yeah, you take the bad ones when people talk shit and people's like, oh, you didn't do this. I'm like, I still take what they have to say. Okay, here's a bad one. One time I've had like somebody who was like, we played really, really well. And somebody came up to me because they were like feeling like, oh, I'm going to give them fucking the business right now.
Yeah.
Guy came up to me and was like, yeah, you guys played really well. And there's a lot of people really into it. It's like, what the fuck are you guys wearing band shirts for? I was like, what? He's like, you guys wear band shirts. Like, name, it's like, think about it. It's like, that's so like unprofessional. You guys aren't really a big enough band. Like, you guys aren't a big band. Like, you guys are like making yourselves out to be a small band. Like, what bands wear other bands' shirts? I was like,
a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I'm like, think about it. It's like, you like Blink-182, right? I'm like, yeah, I guess. They don't wear other bands' t-shirts. I'm like, I guess. I mean, they wear Misfits.
They do, though, but they were like Joy Division and ones that are outside of their genre and shitty.
Yeah. I was like, it's like,
Bauhaus.
Think of like Green Day. I'm like, well, they kind of wear costumes when they play. I'm like, and it's like, And he's like kept talking about it. I'm like, or like, he's like kept naming the ones that I'm like he associated with our band. I'm like, I guess you're right. Like MXPX, they don't wear other bands' t-shirts. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I guess like so. Like for a very little while, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just wear a black t-shirt when I play. And then now
crushed you, dude.
And now I don't give a shit. But it makes sense. I took it for a second, and it didn't. That criticism did not hurt the band.
So it did though, because it was cool for a little bit.
Yeah, because like you show up to a show, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna not wear a band t-shirt, and then now, and for a little while, I didn't really have band t-shirts. So now I have a couple more. So I'm back in my game up. I'm gonna wear band t-shirts at shows. And then yeah, that's about it. That's like I think the worst criticism I had recently that I can remember. Because most people are like they kind of are a bunch of pussies. They don't tell you that you suck. Except for Johnny when he said I suck at bass. So Johnny Ray talking shit.
Good.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What do you say, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. So,
before we head out, I think we are, exhausting all our topics. But let's want to say thank you guys for tuning in. It's fucking like a big deal that you guys are actually tuning into our podcast. But if you guys like the show, I want to say you guys can leave a review on iTunes. We have a good amount of them coming up. If you guys want your review read, we honestly will read anything that you guys like post.
If iTunes will post it, we will read it.
Yeah. Just give us, whatever. Give us the business, really. Yeah. Let us know what you really...
Have fun with it, whatever.
And then...
Or be serious.
I think you can't say, like, derogatory or...
Yeah, don't be a dickhead, okay?
And, or, like, 4-letter words. I don't think iTunes will let that, but... try it. Fuck it. Let us know what you think, and we will read them on the podcast. And then if you guys want to follow along with the show, you guys can check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Just search the Tone Jerks. You guys will find us out on Facebook, the group, and you guys can be a part of the fun. And then as long, when this episode runs, we still have that contest with Fat Foot Effects.
Yeah.
We are giving away a pedal. It's a distortion boost pedal. It's a pretty... sweet looking motherfucker. It's got custom artwork on there. We are giving it away. It's an Instagram kind of contest, so you guys got to follow us, follow Fatfoot, follow the instructions, and repost some shit, and it's gonna be cool. But one last thing before we head out: if you guys really like what you hear, and you guys want to help support the show, you guys can do so on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. But if you guys double down for $2. You guys get an extra episode every week. And just for, quick shout out, and thank you guys for helping support the show, we wanted to give the current patrons a shout out. So we got a listy list going. Let's get it.
All right. I have Co Schneider and Paul Pennington from the Flippin' Flippers podcast.
Yes.
They're our Tone Bros, right?
Yes, they release their episodes from the Flippin' Flippers podcast every Tuesday. So... after you guys are done listening to this, head on over to their feed and go check that shit out.
Yeah, we have Johnny Ray.
Mr. Johnny Ray.
Yeah, he's been a guest a couple times. He's from a band Modern Love.
Mr. Three-Peat, Johnny Ray.
Yeah. He can't be on again because that's just such a cool name. Michael Newman. We have Abe Newman. Doug Gann. Jamie Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Fuzzmonger. We have Digger from Fat Foot Effects.
Yes. Big supporter of the show. And yet again, he built a hell of a pedal that we're giving away.
Yeah.
Try not to
get on that. Come on, guys.
Come on.
We have Joseph from Like My Pedals. He does custom pedal work.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of pedals that he's doing. He's like, not only drives, but he's doing like some... He has the Wells delay, which is...
his like...
analog,
a line that he's running.
Yeah, and then he's doing other reverbs and stuff. I'm in the queue for a bunch of pedals, so check that.
He just has a kid, so congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, Joseph. We have Bruce Banana. We have Jim Bowers,
Jimmy B,
Will Lehue, Leon from Pelican Noiseworks.
Oh yeah,
guy makes some good stuff.
Okay, I think I got like too many of his pedals already.
Yeah, you have a big part of his catalog. He's got others though. He's got different variations.
He's good shirts too. That's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah, I got one too.
It's not a band shirt, so it's okay.
Yeah,
because I can wear that on
funny.
stage.
I think we wear like gear shirts now.
Yeah, instead of band shirts.
I have the quits. I have that. I have the fellows.
Yeah, so
that's a great shirt. All those are great shirts.
But because we're not doing the whole cliche band shirt, we're doing gear shirts.
Yeah,
I like that.
He's like, what? We have Doug Christ, Andrew Walsh.
Oh yeah,
Adam Rohr. He's got a new podcast.
Check that shit out.
Yeah.
It's Let Him Hear.
Let Him Hear. Yeah, he's like 4 or 5 episodes. Or?
Yeah, his latest episode as of this recording, he did with Equits.
Okay.
And Emily Harris. They talked about their new collab of like guitars that they're doing, and it's got some good shit behind them. So check them out.
Cool. Doug King.
Nicest guy on the internet.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and that's what I've seen, actually. Sean Arbo.
Yeah.
From Gun Street Wiring.
Gun Street Wiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle's been pulling a bunch of noobs with him.
Yeah, we've been playing on Battlefield 1.
And
Pretty sick, actually.
He builds a lot of wiring harnesses for guitars. And I don't know, shit. We've been looking
him up,
and I'm looking at my guitars. I'm like, shit, what can I add to this? I'm eventually thinking about throwing a P90 in one of my guitars. I'm like, okay, I need a whole wiring harness for that.
You need a whole new guitar too.
I gotta hit him up. I'm just gonna like build a guitar up from the harness.
Yeah, start the harness.
Start the harness and go up.
Then you gotta go tone woods.
Yeah. I need the tone for my bones. I think that's about it. It's like we're just fucking talking a bunch of shit. Let's get out of here. All right. What do you say?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. We love you.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bunch of kisses. Bye-bye.